Hello, can you hear me online? I think you just can. Donald McSween, is he there?
Yeah, it's all good here with me.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. It's a new board. It's the first meeting of the Social Work and Social Care Board. This is actually my first time up here in the chair, and Marina just asked me, what do you think about being a chair? Well, I've been a chair on many some meetings, and I say the most challenging is the grazings committees. That's a challenge. As I can see a few grazings clerk around here. They usually make good chairs. Anyway, basically the briefing note, I think it's the same. I think we're all aware of it. I'm not going to hold you back because I know PNR is at 2 o'clock and lunch. You still all want your lunch. So basically it's the same as what's been said before. So on that note, I just want to go to the agenda and the minutes of the meeting 20th of June 2022. The started through reflection. Do we all agree on that? Okay, thank you. Item number 2, declaration of interest. Is there anyone with a declaration of interest on what we're going to be discussing? Okay, no declaration of interest. Thank you. Number 3, the National Care Service. And this is the National Care Service Scotland Bill. It's a response by the Colin and Shear to it, and the report is by the Chief Executive. So I will hand you over to Malcolm.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be as brief as I can, given the time. But my thanks to members who came back to me on what was a lengthy document and what is a lengthy document, which was submitted to you for comments during August. But obviously, this is probably the most significant piece of legislation before the Corlair at the moment, and this will not be the last response to consultation. To whom are we responding? The Health, Social Care and Sport Committee of the Parliament, but also 3 other committees, which really makes the point about the scope of the National Care Service Bill. The response has also gone to the Finance Committee, to the Local Government Committee and to the Education Committee. I'm not going to go through the whole document, you'll be relieved to hear, but just a few points to make which have been emphasised in the response. And the first is really the total commitment of councils, historically and currently, including this Corlair, to the delivery of social care locally and with local accountability. And that commitment has been shown by our commitment not to pass on the cuts that the Corlair has received to the IGB. We have given the IGB flat cash. Flat cash is of course in itself a cut, but we have not passed on 14% revenue reductions to the IGB. Whether we will be able to do that in future years, I have some doubt, but that's our commitment to social care. We have, with our paltry resources, given the IGB proportionately more. The theme that goes through this report, though, and it's shared by other councils in Scotland, is while we are as supportive of anyone else to improve the delivery of social care and social work, there is limited evidence to demonstrate that what is proposed in the bill, the structural change that is proposed there, will secure the outcomes which are sought. That's the theme of the whole report. Plenty needs to be done, but not this. And why not? Because local decision making and accountability have delivered improvements in social care, and we would be capable of delivering more with the appropriate funding response and the flexibility to deliver services in the way that the Western Isles required. One particular point of concern in this bill is that there is no guarantee that there would be a local health and social care committee for the Western Isles. It simply says there will be health and social care committees, not that there will be one board, not that there will be one for each local authority area, and the implications of that are obvious. Paragraph 12, I think, and paragraph 15 show how far we have moved in 20 years. We have delivered community care from hospital, from geriatric-based care as it used to be known. We have delivered change. We have delivered it relatively successfully if you look at the audit reports and the inspection reports within the resources we have. So change is needed, resources needed massively in health and social care. Otherwise, as we all know, we will simply fail to recruit and we will simply fail to invest in the services looking at our population demographics. But that doesn't need to be delivered centrally. It doesn't need to be delivered from Inverness. It doesn't need to be delivered in any way other than locally within these islands. Para 16, just a quick note there. I don't use emotive words in my responses, but I'll say it here. The transfer of staff to a care board or from a local authority or from any other body, either to any other body, that is a nightmare in terms of resource when the capacity of councils and health boards and everything else is reduced. The idea of doing TUPE, transfer of undertaking, transfers of staff in addition to changing service delivery would be very difficult indeed. Two final points. The National Care Service Bill goes way beyond the remit of the independent review of adult social care. It strays into community justice, but significantly, it strays into children's services. We have successfully, I believe, integrated our children's services for social work with the education service, and we've done that. We took a conscious decision to do that about 12 years ago, and to dismantle that would be insane, given that the primary links between these services are with education, not with health. That's the path that has been followed by most smaller councils, generally successfully. So that in itself would require a great deal of thought. Finally, Chair, we are different. We are the main provider of social care, of residential social care, of home care. There are a few other providers, but in the main, it is a corporate activity. Now, we are the provider, not just because we want to do it, we're the provider because we have the statutory duty to do it. This bill could make us the provider in spite of having no statutory duty to do it. Now, would we do that then? Would we take on, at a time of financial stringency, delivery of a service for which we had neither political accountability or statutory responsibility? I very much doubt it. Some islands councils are already saying, we won't do that, we just won't do it. Who then looks after our people in home care and in residential care? I don't see these things to be a motive, but these are the questions. We've been asked in this to be a provider, a public body, to be a provider without the statutory responsibility or the input into the service we would be providing. In other words, we would become a commercial provider, which is not the usual space inhabited by local government. Sorry, I did say finally. I just noted paragraph 25. Big part of our strategy is integration of public services, not disaggregation. And this proceeds in a silo mentality. There's a review of local governance going on, or supposed to be going on. And here is this on a service basis landing in front of us without any reference to how that might be achieved in the context of a review of local governance, either in the Western Isles or anywhere else. So this response has gone in. Of course, it shouldn't say draft on it. Ignore that. This is the response that was submitted. It's comprehensive. It's quite a read. I know many of you have read it because you responded to me. All the comments on it were favourable. So I thank you for these. I thank you for your time in going through that. It does reflect the policy position we have taken in the last quarter. I'm hoping, obviously, that we will be invited, or at least one of the islands councils will be invited to make a submission to the Health and Social Care Committee so that we can make these points directly. But that's the essence of the submission, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Malcolm. I would say the majority, if not all of us, agree with you there. So has anyone got any questions for the response by the call, response by Malcolm? Colin McLean.
Chair, reading through reading through what you've written, Mr. Burr, I take it that your main concern and your thrust this morning was the same, is the centralisation to a body that is unelected. This Health and Social Care Board that they talk about, is it an elected board or it is an unelected board? So really, that I take it that's one of the main thrusts of your argument here.
Yes, it is, Chair. The current integration joint boards, which I think we have to say were a compromise arrangement on health, third sector and local government, consist of four members, as Mr. McLean knows because he chairs it, 4 members from the Corla and 4 members from the Health Board. This proposal would, as I say, does not even stipulate that there will be a Health and Social Care Board for the Western Isles, but even if it did, there would only be 1 elected member on it. Now, that does not say to me that there is a great interest in local democracy and accountability, and that is one of my major concerns. Who is taking decisions about the provision of health and social care for the people of the Western Isles? It should be, in my submission, those who are elected to do that, yourselves, advised by your officers as usual. And I fail to see why that system has been found to be so defective that what is sought in the bill would be remedied by having a centralised delivery with Scottish ministers accountable and delivered through a board on which there is minimal local government representation.
Okay, Colin. Okay. Is there anyone else? Anyone else? Any hands up? Susan?
Thank you, Chair. I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. Just a few comments though. It's a response to a consultation. So Scottish Government are asking for our opinion on what they're proposing. So in its very essence, it is consultative. And we've given our response. You had said earlier in your remarks that we wouldn't have political accountability. I agree with you, we wouldn't necessarily have statutory responsibility, but I think as councillors who are representatives of our constituencies, we would have political accountability in what's been proposed here. And I also think it's proposing huge change, which people are often naturally very suspicious of. And I wonder how we would have dealt with this consultation had this been a consultation about the National Health Service, which isn't represented by elected members at the council level, other than the few that are on the IGB. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying in the consultation. All I'm saying is we should be cock-canny.
Chair, I'm happy to. I thank Councillor Thompson for these remarks, because absolutely this is a consultation. But I think the best way of delivering services, vitally important services, whether they're education, social care, libraries, or anything else, is where there is a meeting of a mutual respect for both branches of government, recognising that it is local government which best identifies local priorities, recognising, of course, the legitimacy of national government, which is as elected as we are, to determine overall national priorities. That's when it works well, and I've reflected that in one of the paragraphs in the report. I think the point about NHS is interesting. I think NHS would benefit from more local elected involvement and participation, while still keeping its clinical governance and overall national responsibilities. I think that there is room for improvement here, and I just don't think we should start from here. But it is a consultation, and we will see what comes back. It will be the biggest. It would be the biggest change in the governance of Scotland in about 20 years, going after devolution, of course. So it would be a huge undertaking in any case, and there's a long way to go on the detail of this, I think.
Thank you, Malcolm. Paul?
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for the response. I think the one thing I would say is, as local members and previous to being members, when we hear the word consultation, it suggests that something's already been decided and that's what's going to happen, and they're just letting us know what they're going to do. So there is a suspicion locally, despite it being a consultation, that it's not quite a fait accompli, but it's not far off. And what's being proposed, to my mind, doesn't really suit the way we're wanting to do things. We're wanting to work more collaboratively, working more together across agencies. This is creating another agency, more silo working, less integration, and it's just not quite clear how it's going to work. Like I say, that's the bit we'll get from this consultation. We'll get the feedback. Just to note that my conversations at COSLA, local authorities across the country are not in favour of this method. There's ways that it should be improved. That can be done with better resourcing. There's innovation, different ways of working in different areas that currently work well, that could be shared. This doesn't enable that to happen. This is something totally different. So just I want to say thanks for the response and the members' input into it as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Is there anyone else? No, don't think so. Oh, well, oh. All right, Colin, I didn't
Complaint first of all about this system of getting your attention, Chair. But it's not only you, it's every other chair. But anyway, that's. Can I ask about COSLA's response? Did I hear today something on that COSLA's response to this was, or is there a COSLA response, Mr. Burr?
Yes, there is, Chair. I can circulate that to members. I think it was approved at the leaders' meeting at the extreme end of August, if I remember rightly. So if it's, I'll check that and circulate it to members.
I thought I heard something today that they had made it, but if you weren't aware of it.
I haven't seen anything today, Chair, but I'll certainly look into that.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Malcolm. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your attendance, and we'll know in time when the next meeting is. Sorry? Okay, sorry. Thank you, Derek. Do you all agree to note the report? Yeah. Thank you.